Hey Captains, this is Karandar. Destroyers. One of the most influential and demanding ships in the game. One of the most harshly punished if you make a mistake. There's so many variables to discuss regarding destroyers, I can't possibly cover them in a single video. So today I'm going to run through what I consider the most important basics to help you survive longer and have a greater impact on the game. If you haven't already, be sure to go watch my last video, Game Settings that you might be missing that will make you a better captain, where I cover important game settings that will give you a lot more tactical information on your screen and situational awareness in the game. It's a very important first step before watching this video. I'll also be releasing a follow-up to this explaining more intermediate destroyer play like dealing with aircraft, more challenging caps, the importance of spotting for your team, using smoke more effectively, and braking detection. Today I want to start by quickly looking at ship modules and captain skills. For ship modules in slot 1, you'll want to take Main Armaments Mod 1, as it increases the survival of guns, torpedoes, and speeds their repair if it's incapacitated. Slot 2 will generally be Propulsion Mod 1 to help keep your engines going. You can check the Warships Wiki to see what they recommend for each ship, as some nations lose rudder more frequently than engines, and you may want to choose those instead. In slot 3, Quick Turret Traverse Gunboats will likely want Aiming System Mod 1 for more accuracy, or the AA module, while any destroyers with a slow turret should take Main Battery Mod 2 for the 15% faster turret traverse and a 5% reload expense. Slot 4, take Propulsion Mod 2, as this allows you to accelerate 50% faster from a stop. This can allow you to possibly survive surprise torpedoes when you're stopped, and especially in smoke. Some will suggest taking rudder shift instead, and for some DD hunting gunboats, that's a very viable option. Try them out to suit your playstyle. Slot 5 is Concealment, 10% smaller detection, and a dispersion buff on incoming shells. Slot 6 is where you buff your strength. Gunboats increase rate of fire at expensive traverse, torp boats buff your torpedo reload, but at the launcher's expense of breaking more easily. Extra AA and range are also options here. But again, for a big improvement in quality of life with slow turret traverse destroyers, take the Main Battery Mod 2. This, along with Expert Marksman, will still allow your turrets to track fast enough to keep shooting while trying to evade your enemies. The couple seconds improvement may not seem significant, but it is far better, and it's a big recommendation from me. As to your ship consumables, the difference between regular and premium consumables is a reload improvement of 33% faster. The cost for new players, especially playing without premium account, is high at 22,500 credits per consumable per battle. If you're not currently using any premium consumables, what I recommend is starting at around tier 5, being selective with the ones you equip until you can afford more later in your warship's career. For some consumables, for example, the reload difference is huge, like smoke for destroyers. In this Shima case here, 2.5 minutes versus 4 full minutes. If you're in a CV game, that's life and death. Living longer will get you more damage and caps, meaning more experience and more credits, and you can decide which ones help you the most. You should also be aware of your ship's various stats under the Modules tab, and these are all listed on the right. From top to bottom, you can select and review the armor layout. For most destroyers, that's pretty simple, it's virtually none. But for other ships, knowing where you have the heavier plating so you can angle them might save your life. Next is survivability, which is simply your ship's hit points. Under artillery, when you mouse over each part, it opens a detailed highlight list showing range, shell velocity, shell damage, the fire chance, and important to note, the high explosive armor pen. In Shimakaze's case here, 20 millimeters. And with that, we're only going to harm other destroyers and superstructure on bigger ships. Our main damage is going to come from torpedoes, floods, and fires. Torpedoes, this shows the range and the speed, while the submenu shows damage of the torpedoes, the detectability, and the smaller this number, the less warning the enemy gets before he gets hit. AA defenses, this shows long and short range defenses. Mousing over those, you see continuous damage and flak burst damage. Maneuverability, this shows your speed and rudder shift. If your destroyer is too sluggish turning, the rudder shift module in place of Propulsion Mod 2 can help that. Concealment shows the various ranges your ship is detected at, by sea, air, when firing your main guns from smoke cover. Next, we'll take a look at destroyer captain skills. Your first 10 points for all but high-tier gunboats take preventative maintenance. It gives your guns, torpedoes, rudders, and such more survivability. For your 2-point skill, take last stand. This allows you to have limited engines and steering even if they're knocked out. It's about half effectiveness, but this can keep you alive versus coming to a standstill or driving around in circles. Your 3-point skill should be survivability expert. This gives you an extra 350 health for each tier of your ship. That's 3,500 at tier 10. And lastly, concealment, a 10% improvement on your detection. Beyond these 10 points, what you take will depend on the destroyer and the play style. Gunboat, torpedo boat, somewhere in between. For torpedo boats, you're going to want to take torpedo reload 3-point skill for a 10% boost. For gunboats, either demolition expert for higher fire chance or possibly IFHE for more high explosive penetration. Radiolocation's a great competitive skill for ranked and clan battles to help prevent hidden destroyers from flanking your team. Possibly a little less usable in randoms, but that's again in personal preference. Superintendent is a 3-point that's very important if you find yourself running out of consumables. The extra charge can be very important late match. And the expert marksman at 2 points is a great boost to your slow turret traverse ships, while other notables are adrenaline rush. As you lose health, the reload of all your weapons speeds up. At 50% health, you reload 10% faster, while BFT is a decent 3-point skill for gunboats that increases continuous AA 10% and increased rate of gunfire by 10%. One of the most important aspects with most destroyers is their stealth, and to that end, you must be aware of your detection ranges and the various ways that you can be detected. There's no real chart I could find that shows all of them in one spot, so I created one for you here. Right off the start, number 1, the most common hard detected. Exclamation mark. This is when you're inside your detection range to the enemy. This number increases when you fire your guns. Aircraft detected or aircraft spotted. You see the little plane icon above the detected. It's when you're detected by any plane. Proximity detected. Little triangle with the exclamation mark. This is when you're within 2 kilometers of an enemy ship, even through islands and smoke. Keep in mind that anyone using the ship module target acquisition, this automatic detection range increases to 3 kilometers, so beware of any battleships that are charging aggressively. Radar detected. This is the bane of DD captains. Radar is varying durations up to about 1 minute. Detection ranges of up to 12 kilometers. Extended duration ship modules are also available for purchase from the armory for coal. Hydroacoustic detected with the little headphones, up to 6 kilometers depending on ships. Very long duration into several minutes. Extended duration modules can also be purchased from the armory for coal. Now, priority target skill. This isn't a detection in itself, but the little circle here, the number that's inside that, when you have this skill, will display how many enemies are actually targeting you with their guns. Pay attention to that and act accordingly. And radiolocated. When an enemy has the captain skill radiolocation, he'll see an indicator showing him the direction of the nearest enemy ship on his screen. And in this case, that would be you. And that's why you see this little white located arrow. This upper center right of the screen when you are radiolocated. He can't see you to shoot you, but he does know the general direction that you're in and that you are the closest target. I've also included a couple of charts with every ship that can mount radar or hydroacoustics. These charts show ranges, durations, and reload times for regular and premium consumables. Learning these can be a lifesaver. I'll also link the Warships wiki page in the YouTube comments below this video, as the data changes with new ships and any balance changes that Wargaming introduces, so you'll want to check this from time to time. While you're in the game, if you can't remember, the easiest way to see your various detection ranges, guns, torpedoes, concealment, just hit the H button at the beginning of each match or through the match and just review the little chart that pops up. It's invaluable. The consumable duration extension modules can be found in the armory under upgrades. Each update, there's a 25% discount coupon that drops the price from 17,000 to 12,500 coal. These various duration upgrade modules can be installed beginning at Tier 6, but some not until Tier 9. I'll include another link in my YouTube comments here for you to access specific details about all the consumables. In this brief detection example, an enemy ship is smoked in front of our Z-52 destroyer, which is able to use the hydroacoustic search consumable. As we move closer, the Z is going to activate her hydro, which will detect the daring. The daring will instantly see the headphones detection icon on his screen and be detected. And because the daring is in smoke, there's no one else spotting our Z-52, we can freely fire at the daring without being detected ourselves. As our Z-52 approaches the daring, she fires her guns again here at 2.8 kilometers, which would be a tactical mistake, and we're immediately detected by the daring because this is inside the Z-52's detected when firing main guns from smoke range of 2.9 kilometers. So now the daring sees it and would be able to fire back at the Z. As we close to inside the 2 kilometers assured acquisition range, the detected icon again changes to show this. One of the most critical pieces of advice I can offer is how and when to take a cap. This is where most of the newer enthusiastic captains quickly lose their ships, rushing in blindly and dying quickly. In matches where you have a stealthy ship like this Haida, and the cap zone is large, you're not seeing any aircraft, and when you believe you're safe from radar, also no one else is already in that cap, you can use this technique to more safely take it. Moving towards the cap, looking at the far islands, check the range, ask yourself, could any radar cruiser on the enemy team detect me from that spot? If the answer is no, then you may enter the cap at an angle and then quickly turn back towards your original spawn point. Come to a stop at the edge of the cap, but be ready with your speed boost if you have one, as it will allow you a quicker getaway if you suddenly see torpedoes. Never smoke when doing this unless you're detected by another ship and need to escape. You can see how this leaves you with a very narrow, harder to hit profile, and you accelerate much quicker in a straight line to get away. If you do see aircraft coming in, then be sure to smoke quickly enough to be fully concealed before the planes have you in their spotting range. That white circle must be on the water around you before those planes are in your detection range, because you sitting still like that, they'll hurt you bad. And again, use the detection info from your H key. Also, begin every match. Examine the team rosters carefully to identify every radar ship and every destroyer that's equipped with hydro. You can use the tab button to bring up the teams list at any time. Here is just an example of what I never want to see you do. Entering a cap, sitting broadside to the enemy, and smoking when you've not been detected is just not a waste. It's not just a waste of smoke. It's a neon sign that says, "Torp me here." Enemy torpedoes will be coming, trust me. Far too many captains die this way. I'm going to add one more link to my YouTube description below this video for a fantastic website, WoW's Fitting Tool. Here you can select any ship in the game, select ship modules, captain skills, and watch the effects each change has on your ship stats, like turret traverse and concealment and more. Spending a little time trying various builds here can save you a lot of credits and doubloons from respeccing in the game. This is a lot of information for newer captains to remember, so rewatch the video, print screen the charts I've included, go to the YouTube links that I'm referring to in my YouTube comments, and you'll become a far better destroyer captain. That's all for me for now. Good luck putting this to work for you. Please like and subscribe, and until the next, good hunting.